Good evening, everyone. Today, the content of the this presentation is divided into four parts. That is introduction part, and the second one is legal structure part of the startup, and uh, registration of the startup, and fourth part is legal steps, and fourth one is ethical steps. Let's start with the introduction part of this webinar. Entrepreneurship or start is like a journey where you come up with clever ideas, make the economy grow, and bring your dreams to life. Each one of you here represent the creative of brave spirit to start your own business. But remember, having a good idea alone won't guarantee success. We talk about important things to consider the legal and ethical aspects. Uh, in the fast changing business world, startup face challenges, so we must pay attention to these rules. Ignoring them could cause big problems and harm our business. Think of your startup as a building. Ma'am, it's think of your startup as a building. The foundation is super important. It holds everything up. Following the law and being ethical are the foundation of your business success. They shape how you turn your company and build trust with customers, employees, and partners. Startup or entrepreneurship is not just about making money, it's about creating values, solving social problems, and making the world better. By doing business with honesty and responsibility, we can have a positive impact on our community. Starting a business always has risks, but we need to make smart decisions by understanding the legal side and thinking ethically. We can reduce risk and increase our chances of success. Knowledge is power, especially about business rules and ethics. Learning from experts help is navigate complex laws and make good choices our startups. In today's world, trust and transparency and uh, are crucial. Building a business culture based on these values creates strong relationship with everyone we work with. Trust is the key to success, and ethics makes partnership last. The legal and ethical steps we will uh, talk about today are not just theory, they are practical and vital for startup success. Be open minded and engage, engage during this webinar. Let's plan our startups with a commitment to doing things uh, right, creating not just successful business but better and more inclusive world. Before knowing about legal and ethical steps, we will understand the meaning of startup. First, we understand that what is startup and definition of startup. Okay, imagine you have a fantastic idea, a unique plan to create something new or solve a problem. You want to turn this idea into a real business, but you don't have a big company yet. Okay, that's why where a startup comes in. A startup is like a small plant that is just starting to grow. It's a young and innovative business that's full of energy and potential. Startups are all about taking risk, trying new things, and dreaming big. You see, startups are different from traditional companies because they are not already established and well known. They are like little seeds that have the potential to grow big and successful business. The journey of a startup can tough and uncertain, but it is also incredibly exciting. It is like an adventure when you learn, adjust, and work hard to make your idea come to life. Startup often need support, guidance, and sometimes investment to grow. They might seek help from uh, mentors or investors, or even join a special program designed to help them succeed. The beauty of startup is that they have the power to change the world. Many famous companies that we know today, like Google, Facebook, and Amazon, started as a small startup with big dreams. So, in simple words, a startup is a young and innovative business that is just getting started on its journey to make a difference in the world. It's all about the creativity, growth, and passing to turn an idea into reality. As per the Government of India MSME department, startup means any registered private limited company or LLP or registered partnership for or one person company. So also it shall be less than 10 years old from the date of incorporation or registration, or the turnover of the startup for any financial has not exceed rupees 100 crores. So it's all about the startup. Um, can we go to next slide, ma'am?
Yes, madam. Yes, madam.
Before you know about legal structure of the startup, you must uh, do some activities before start a startup. The first step in starting a startup is having innovative idea. From there, market research is the next step to determine how feasible the idea and what the current marketplace looks like in your idea. After the market research, uh, creating a business plan that outlines your company structure, goals, mission, values, and objectives. It is the next step. One of the most important step in obtaining funds or funding for your startup. This can come from savings, friends, family, investors, government grants, or a loan. After raising funds, make sure you have done all the correct legal paperwork. This means registering your business and obtaining any required license or permits. After this, establish a business location. From there, create an adventuring plan to attend customers, establish a customer base, and adapt as your business grows. Uh, One of the first critical decision you will face as a founder is choosing a legal structure for your startup. The legal structure you select will impact your taxes, liability, and governance. Sole proprietorship, partnership, limited liability company, or LLP are among the common options. Understanding the implication of each structure is vital to making an informed decision that aligns with your business goals and long-term vision. Um, there are two categories. Ma'am, please be in the previous
Okay,
year.
okay, madam.
There are two categories of legal structure for startups. One is unregistered and another is registered structure. Sole proprietorship and unregistered partnership firm comes under the unregistered structure of startups. These kind of startups need not require registration with any body of um, like Department of MCA, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, like that. Generally, these kinds of startup are suitable when the startup is in idea to prototype or in POC, like a proof of concept stage. The second category is register structure. Limited liability partnership firm, that is LLP, private company limited, public company limited, or one person company limited are the startups which come under register structure of the startups. These kind of startups required to register under special acts like Companies Act 2013 and LLP Act 2008. These kind of legal structure of startups are suitable for when the product is ready to go to market. Generally, investors and government recognize these startup for provide grant and funding. Next, we will see how to process or registration of startup. For the partnership and for the proprietorship and partnership firm, registration with special central government body is not mandatory. For proprietorship means a single person firm. Um, to get proprietorship license, we need to provide our details like identity card, PAN card, and bank details and address of the space of startup to local municipal authority or corporation authority. So, providing these details, we can get the license for proprietorship. For partnership firm, we need to draft a partnership deed. I suggest you can go with the legal counsel to draft a partnership firm to define all the roles and responsibilities of partners and notarize the deed. Or you can register the partnership deed with the local registration authority by providing registration fees along with your documents. But registering a private company limited involves several steps and the submission of specific documents. Specific documents. Uh, uh, I will explain you what are the documents are required for registering of a private company limited or LLP. Both are similar, but a few documents and uh, uh, that will be changed according to private limited or LLP. Uh, First, you have to find company name reservation. First, you have to choose a unique name of your company name and check its availability with the register of companies. You may need to provide alternative names in case the first choice is not available. As a director, you will need apply for a digital signature, as most registration process are now done online and require digital signature for authentication. The third step is you have to obtain DIN for all proposed directors of the company or LLP. If it can be obtained by filing Form DI3 on the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, that is MCA website. Further, you have to gather necessary documents like memorandum of association. This document outlines the company's objectives and scope of business. The document is article of association. It defines the company's internal regulations and governance. Uh, and the document is identity and address proof of directors and shareholders, passport or driving license or other card or utility bills. Then other document is proof of registered office address and consent to act as a directors. Uh, Filing with next you have to filing with the register of companies. You have to prepare required forms and submit to the ROC along with the necessary documents. The primary forms include form number 32, 33, and 34. Then you have to pay prescribed registration fees to the ROC based on the authorized capital of the company. Once the ROC verifies the document and information, they will issue a certificate of incorporation, indicating the formation of your private limited company or LLP. Later, you have to apply for company's permanent account number, that is PAN card, and tax deduction and collecting account number, TAN number, with the income tax department. It is advisable, all of you, to consult a legal professional or a chartered accountant or company registration services to ensure compliance with the legal formalities and requirement for your startup. Can we go to the next slide, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Another question arises that there are different types of structure of startups, and which one is the best to choose. There are four deciding factors, that is tax benefits, term structure, residential status, or potential liabilities. Um, you can, based on that, you can choose your startup structure. Uh, First one is tax benefit first, factor. Different taxes are there for partnership firm, proprietorship, or LLP or private limited. According to your business, you can choose the structure of your startup. Generally, you need to pay more taxes for private limited and LLP comparatively a non-registered partnership firm or proprietorship. Then the second factor is team structure. If you want to take all decisions for your business, then you can go for proprietorship. Or if you need team of expertise for your startup, you can choose LLP or private limited company. The third factor is potential liability. In proprietorship and partnership, form of the um, person and partners are uh, liable for any loss and liabilities. But in case of LLP and private limited, partners and shareholders are liable only for limited liability. For example, if you invest rupees 1 lakh in the LLP or private limited, you will be liable only for rupees 1 lakh. Any further liability or loss of or loss, the company or LLP is liable, as the company is an artificial person. In case any loss, company will be declared as bankrupt, but your personal assets will be safe. The another deciding factor is residential status. If you are a resident of India, NRI, or non-citizen of India, you can choose your structure of startup which is suitable for you as per the rules and international rules and guidelines. Can we go to next slide, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
It's about intellectual property. Intellectual property rights are like the heart and soul of any startup. Many startups face a common fear that their idea or plan uh, could be stolen by someone. So it is important for a startup to protect their intellectual property rights on a priority basis. And the other issue is that the startup should also check that what they are planning to do or what they are planning to sell is already been protected, so that they may not face problem like trademark infringement or other IP violations after they invest a big sum of funds in their business. Uh, First, we will understand that what is IP, or meaning of IP. Intellectual property refers to the creation of the human mind that are unique and valuable. These creation can be inventions, art, artistic works, designs, brand names, or even ideas. Just like we protect physical things like our belongings, intellectual property needs protection too, so that the people who come up with these social creations can use the benefit from them without others taking or copying them without permission. Intellectual property rights give creation the legal right to the control and profit from their unique ideas and creations. There are different types of IPs which are protected and recognized by Government of India. Can we go to the next slide, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
So we in India we recognized the seven types of IP, kind of IPs. One is the patent, trademark, copyright, plant breeders right. This is for farmers right, and utility model design, um, and the one is geographical indication and trademark. So first, we'll discuss about the patent. Uh, a patent is a form of legal protection granted to an inventor or a startup for their new and useful invention or innovations. It gives the inventor the exclusive right to make, use, and sell their invention for a period of 20 years without others being allowed to copy or use it without permission. The importance of patent for a startup is significant. By getting a patent, the startup ensures that their unique ideas and invention are safeguarded, and no no one else can steal or use them without startup's permission or inventor's permission. The second benefit is that having a patent gives the startup a competitive advantage in the market. It means they have something valuable and exclusive that set them apart from others. The third one is inventors, investors, and partners are more likely to interested in startup with patented technology, as it shows that the startup has valuable intellectual property that can lead to future profits. The fourth advantage is having a patent is with the patent plan, the startup can freely develop, market, and sell their innovation without worrying about competitors. It's very important. Without competitors, they can develop their startup, taking advantage of their hard work. The fifth advantage is the startup can also license its patented technology to other companies, generating additional revenue, uh, and expanding its business opportunities. The another important advantage is patent encourage startups and inventors to keep creating and developing new ideas, as they know they will be rewarded and protected for their innovative efforts. Overall, a patent is a powerful tool for startup to protect its invention, stand out in the market, attract investment, and turn their innovative ideas to uh, portfolio ventures. Another type of IP is trademark. The trademark is unique sign or symbol that represent a brand or business. It can be a word, a name, a logo, or a phrase, or even combination of these elements. When a business registers a trademark, it becomes its exclusive property. and no one else can use the same or similar sign for similar goods or services. The importance of trademark for a startup is significant because it builds a strong brand identity. A trademark sets the startup apart from competitors and helps customers recognize and remember the brand easily. The second advantage is it prevents confusion. Having a registered trademark prevents other businesses from using a similar name or logo that might confuse customers and harm the startup's reputation. The third advantage is it gains customer trust. A recognizable and protected trademark creates trust and credibility among customers, increasing the chances of attracting more business. The fourth advantage is its secure market presence. A trademark ensures that the startup has the exclusive right to use the particular brand name or logo in the market, providing a competitive advantage. The another advantage is it attracts investors and partnership. Investors and partners are more likely to invest in a collaborate with a startup that has a strong trademark as it shows professionalism and commitment to the business. Uh, Further, it and internationally, a registered trademark can be used to expand the startup's business globally and protect the brand in multiple countries. Overall, a trademark is a valuable asset for startup, helping it to establish a unique identity, protest, protect its reputation, and succeed in a competitive market. And the type of IPR is copyright. Copyright is a type of legal protection that gives. Yes, ma'am.
No,
Hello.
no, no, nothing, madam.
Yeah, okay. So, another type of IPR is copyright. So, copyright is a type of legal protection that gives authors, creators, including startups, exclusive rights to their original works. These works can be anything creative, such as books, music, videos, software, artistic works, or designs. When a startup or any creators get copyright protection, it means that no one else can copy or reproduce or distribute or use their work without the author's or startup's permission. Another type of IP is design. It is also very important for a startup. In the context of intellectual property, a design refers to visual appearance of a product. It includes the shape, the pattern, ornamentation, or configuration of an object. The designs can be found in everyday items like furniture, clothing, electronic devices, and packaging. When a design is considered unique and original, it may be eligible for design protection. Design protection grants the owner exclusive right to use, sell, and license the appearance of the product for a specific period. Uh, that is for a maximum of 15 years. Design rights are essential for designers and businesses to safeguard their creative efforts and maintain a competitive edge in the market. Then other type of IPR is trade secrets. In the context of intellectual property, a trade secret is a confidential and valuable information that gives a business a competitive advantage. This information can be a formula, a method, a process, a customer list, or any other knowledge that is not generally known or easily accessible to the public. Unlike patents, trademark, and copyrights, Trade secrets are not publicly registered or disclosed. Instead, their protection relies on maintaining secrecy and taking reasonable measures to keep the information confidential. A trade secret in IP is like closely guarded secret recipe or special techniques that a business keeps hidden from the competitors. By keeping this valuable information confidential, the business gains a competitive edge, as others do not have access to the same knowledge or expertise. Protecting trade secret is essential for businesses or startups to maintain their unique advantage and prevent unauthorized use or disclosure of valuable information. Resist the further aspect is how to protect our IPR. We have to register our IPR through IP India office. Um, IP India office. Registration and protection of intellectual property are essential steps for individuals and startups to safeguard their creative and innovative works from unauthorized use and infringement. It's important for startups to seek legal counsel or professional IP agents' assistance during the registration process to ensure compliance with IP laws and maximize protection. Early registration and proactive IP protection strategies are vital, establishing a strong foundation for startups' growth and success while safeguarding its innovations from potential infringement. Can we go to next slide now?
Yes.
The other the another important aspect is contracts and agreements for startups. Um, Contracts and agreements from contracts and agreements form the backbone of business relationships, whether it's with the co-founders, employees, vendor, um, or clients. Having well-drafted contracts is essential. These agreements define the right, responsibilities, and expectation of each party involved. By creating clear and fair contracts, you mitigate the risk of disputes and ensure smoother business operations. Um, First, we need to understand what is the contract. Uh, any, any agreement which is enforceable law is known as contract. A contract is a legally binding agreement between two or more parties. It outlines what each party promises to do or not to do, and what they expect to receive in return. Means a consideration, something in return. Contracts can be written or verbal, but written contracts are more commonly used because they provide clear evidence of what was agreed upon. When two or more people or organization enter into a contract, they are making a mutual promise to follow the terms and conditions stated in the agreement. If one party fails to fulfill its um, promises, the other party may have the right to seek legal remedies or compensation. Contracts are used, contracts are used in various situations, such as when buying or selling goods and services, renting or leasing property, hiring employees, or entering into business partnerships. They are essential for ensuring that everyone involved understand their rights and obligations, and they provide a framework for resolving dispute if any issue arises in the future. Then, what is the importance of agreements? Business agreements are very important for startups because business agreements clearly outline what each party expects from the other. This um, this prevents misunderstanding and ensures everyone knows their roles and responsibility. Uh, Further, these agreements safeguard the rights and interests of the startups by getting terms and conditions that help avoid potential dispute or risks. Um, by by formalizing agreements, a startup builds trust with the partners, customers, and investors, showing that they are serious about their commitments. Business agreements provide clarity on payment terms, delivery schedules, and other critical aspects, making it easier to plan and operate smoothly. Um, with clear agreements in place, startup can confidently pursue new opportunities, secure funding, and expand their business without hesitation. Another important importance of having agreement is having written agreement strengthens the legal standing of startup, making it easier to enforce right and seek remedies if needed. Agreement foster productive collaboration with the suppliers, vendors, and clients, enabling the startups to access essential resources and support. So, well-drafted agreements reduce the chances of unforeseen circumstances, allowing startups to navigate challenges more effectively. Business agreements are very important for startups as they provide structure, protect interest, foster trust, and enable growth. By formalizing arrangements, startups can establish a strong foundation for success and long-term sustainability. Some agreements are essential for startup. One first one is a founder agreement. A founder agreements are legal contracts or written agreements between the co-founders of startup. These agreements outline the roles and responsibilities of rights of each founder and lay the groundwork for how they will work together to build and run the company. Founder agreements typically address various aspects of the startup management, ownership, decision making, equity allocation, and potential scenario such as founder departures or dispute resolutions. The purpose of founder agreement is to establish a clear understanding and conscience among the co-founders, ensuring that everyone is to same page from the outset. These agreements help prevent misunderstanding, conflict, and dispute later in the startup's journey, allowing the founders to focus on growing the business rather than resolving internal issues. The Another important agreement for startup is a contract with the client or vendor or employee. A contract with the client, vendor, or employee is a legal agreement between a business and the individuals or entities it interact with in course of its operations. These contracts define the terms and conditions under which the business and other party will work together, uh, outing the, outlining their respective rights, responsibilities, and obligations. Contracts with the clients, vendors, and employees are essential for businesses or startups as they provide a legally binding frameworks that ensure clear communication, expectation, and protection for all parties involved. These contracts help establish trust, prevent misunderstanding, and offer remedies in case of dispute, creating a stable and productive business environment. The another policy, or it's not a contract, it's a policy, which is very essential for startups. Which one? The privacy policy for website, or policy for the institute. Um, the need and importance of a policy, privacy policy for startup are significant in today's digital age, where data protection and privacy concerns are paramount. A privacy policy is a legal document that outlines how business collects, uses, processes, and protects personal information gathered from customers, users, or visitors, first, or, or any employees. For startups, having a well drafted privacy policy is very important, because a privacy policy demonstrates transparency and shows shows the startup is committed to uh, protecting its customers and the users' data. This builds trust, confidence, encouraging more people to engage with the startup's products or services. The other important aspect of this privacy policy is a privacy policy helps startups establish protocols for handling and safeguarding sensitive information. It outlines security measures to protect against data breaches and unauthorized access, minimizing the risk of data leaks. Another point is, many users and customers expect businesses to have a privacy policy in place. A clear and accessible privacy policy can assure them that their personal information is treated responsibly. A comprehensive privacy policy can help prevent misunderstandings and dispute with customers or regulatory authorities, reducing the likelihood of costly lawsuits. Having a privacy policy enhances the startup's credibility, making it more appealing to potential partners, investors, or stakeholders who value data protection. Some advertising networks and platforms require businesses to have a privacy policy in place to participate in targeted advertising or data driven marketing campaigns. A privacy policy is important component of a startup's legal and ethical responsibilities. It is not only a compliance necessary necessity, but also powerful tool to build trust, protect user data, and enhance the startup's reputation in the digital landscape. Creating a clear and concise privacy policy should be a priority for any startup to demonstrate its commitment to privacy and data protection. Another important agreement for startup is license or technology transfer agreement. Licensing agreements or technology transfer agreements for startups are straightforward arrangements where a startup, he may be licensor, licensee, gives another party the license, permission to use its intellectual property in exchange for certain benefits or payments. The IP can be include patent, trademarks, copyright, trade secrets, or any other valuable assets that startup owns. It is like renting out or sharing your innovative ideas to creation with someone else for a fee. Licensing agreements allow startups to leverage their IP to generate additional revenue streams, expand their market reach, and create partnerships with the other businesses. For example, a startup with a unique software technology can license it to other companies, earning royalty based on uh, sales or usage. A startup with another example is a startup with a patent for groundbreaking invention can license it to a manufacturer, receiving by receiving a percentage of profit from the product sales. Another example, a startup with a popular brand name or a logo can license it to other businesses, earning licensing fees or a royalty while maintaining control over the brand's use. Licensing agreements and are beneficial for startups because they enable them to monetize their intellectual property without losing ownership. They also allow startups to tap into the expertise and resources of established companies, helping them grow and succeed in the competitive market. Can we go to next slide now?
Yes, ma'am.
So, another important topic is compliance and regulations for startups. How to start a startup related to compliance and regulations. We will discuss the common compliance challenges that startup face and provide insights into how to stay on the right side of the law while building startups. The first one is getting MSME and Udyam registration and Startup India certificate are not mandatory, but they will support in various uh, operations of your startup. The MSME Udyam registration certificate is a government issued document that provides official recognition to startup and other micro, small, medium entrepreneurs in India. It is an online registration process introduced by MSME, Department of Ministry of MSMEs, Government of India, to streamline and simplify the registration for MSME entities. For startups, obtaining the Udyam registration certificate offers several benefits like government support. Udyam registered startups become eligible for various government schemes, incentives, and support programs aimed at promoting businesses. Another advantage is financial assistance. Startup with them registration can access credit facilities, loans, grants, subsidies from banks and financial institutes uh, with ease. And the advantage of getting an MSME or Startup India certificate is uh, may Udyam registration startup may receive loans at a lower interest rate, reducing the financial burden. Um, and there is tax benefits. Udyam registration provides certain tax and excise duty exemptions and benefit for startups. Uh, MSME certificate, uh, you can get IP registration fees reimbursement also. If you have a MSME certificate, if you file a patent or a trademark and it get registered, you can get reimbursement up to 10,000 for trademark and up to 1 lakh, 2 lakh for patent registration. For patent registration. The Udyam registration process is simple and free. Startup need to provide basic information about their business such as Aadhaar card, PAN card, bank account details and other relevant details. Upon successful registration, the startup receives a unique Udyam registration number and Udyam registration certificate. You will get same or a similar benefit from getting the Startup India certificate. The another important compliance is form number filing a form number 2 with the Startup India. Filing Form 2 with Startup India for angel tax exemption is a process aimed at providing relief to eligible startups from the scrutiny of the angel tax. Angel tax is a term used for the tax levied on the excess premium received by startups on the issuance of shares to angel investors or other investors. The another important point of compliances or regulation is GST, goods and service tax. Is a unified indirect tax levied on the supply of goods and services in India. It replaced multiple taxes like excise duty, service tax, VAT, and other, creating a simplified and streamlined tax system. GST is applicable to businesses or startups in that have turnover above the prescribed threshold. You have to remember some points about the GST that are registration. First one, the registration. Startup with an annual turnover above the GST threshold. Currently, government of India, you know, maintain rupees 40 lakhs for most of the states of India. Uh, must register for who have the turnover more than 40 lakhs. They must have mandatory for registration of GST. Voluntary registration is also available for startups with a turnover below the threshold. That is, who are turnover below the 40 lakhs also they can go for registration of GST. But above 40 lakhs turnover, GST is mandatory. GST, after registration, startup receives a unique GST identification number, which is used for GST related transaction and compliances. Further, startup needs to collect GST from their customers on taxable supplies and deposit with the government. Startups can claim input credit on GST paid on purchase or against the GST collected on sales. This helps reduce the tax burden. Filing returns of GST is also mandatory. Startup needs to file GST returns regularly, providing details of their sales, purchase, and tax payments. Quarterly returns are generally applicable for businesses with a turnover below a certain threshold. Um, Startups with a turnover up to um, rupees 1.5 crore can opt for the composition scheme with offer similar compliances and a lower tax rate. Startups involved in export and import of goods and services may be eligible for certain exemptions on zero rated tax benefit under GST. You have to remember that non-compliance or late filing of GST returns may attract penalties and interest. GST has a simplified tax compliance for startups and reduce the burden of multiple taxes. However, startups need to be aware of the GST rules and ensure proper compliance to avoid penalties and enjoy benefits of input tax credit. Seeking professional advice can be beneficial for startups to navigate GST regulations effectively. The another aspect is labor law registration as and when applicable. So, labor law registration for startup means the process of obtaining various statutory registrations and license required to comply with the labor related regulations in India. Startups that hire employees need to adhere to several labor laws and obtain specific registration as and when applicable to ensure compliances with labor related obligations. Some of the registrations are important, like employees provident fund registration. Startup with the 20 or more employees are required to register under Employees Provident Fund and Miscellaneous Provisions Act. EPF recognizes involves setting up a provident fund account for employees and making contribution to the fund. The another one, the another important registration with the labor law is employees state insurance. Startup with the 10 or more employees are required to register under Employees State Insurance Act. ESI registration provides medical and other benefits of employees that they dependents during times of sickness, injury, or disability. Another labor law is professional tax registration. Professional tax registration is mandatory in some states of India for employers who have who pay salaries to employees. The tax is deducted from employees' salaries and remitted to the respective state governments. Another labor law, under law registration is shop and establishment registration. Startups need to register under the respective state shop and establishment act within a specific time after commencing operations. This registration governs working hours, um, leaves, holidays, and other labor related norms. Startup must ensure timely registration under these labor laws and comply with their provisions, such as maintaining proper records, filing periodically returns, and remitting contribution on time. A non-compliance may lead to penalties and legal consequences. Seeking professional guidance and legal advice can help startup navigate labor law requirements efficiently and ensure compliance from the start of their operations. Um, can we go to next slide now?
Yes, ma'am.
So another very important aspect, that is social and environmental responsibilities. A successful startup goes beyond just legality. Uh, it must also hold ethical principles. Acting ethical means Acting ethical means prioritizing honesty, fairness, transparency, and social responsibilities. Ethical business practices not only contribute to sustainable business model but also fosters stronger relationships uh, with the customers, employees, and the community at large. The purpose of a startup is to earn profit, but while earning profit, ethics should not be ignored. The startups should comply with the laws and regulations. At the same time, it should not forget the duty towards the community, people, and customers, and the company. Duty towards the customers. The startups should not indulge mm, in any kind of activities which may be uh, determined to the interest of the customers. The startup should uh, accept the feedback from its customers and should take care of the uh, other state services and assist the customers. A startup can grow only with the help of satisfied and happy customers. Another beauty of startup is towards to its employees. The employees for a startup are as important as wheels for a car. Be it small or big, employee, everyone's contribution is necessary for the proper growth and functioning of a startup. The startup should be legally as well as ethically give regard to the rights of every employee. They should give um, they should given proper treatment, timely payment of salary and allowances. The startups should have a proper system uh, for a hearing this thing, for hearing the governance or its employees, and it should by to keep its employees motivated in order to maintain healthy growth of the startup. The another duty of a startup is to towards the community. The startup should be careful that they should not in any manner cause harm to the sentiments of the people, a society, and they must follow a proper gate pathway for the betterment of the society by keeping provisions of investing in social cause like education, food, environment, etc. Startups should be careful about the religious sentiments of the people, especially while advertising. And another duty towards is environmental. Environmental law for startup includes a set of rules, regulations, and guidelines that aim to protect the environment and promote sustainable practices. Startup must comply with these environmental laws to ensure that their operations have minimum negative impact on the environment. Um, uh, it is essential for startup to proactively assess and address environmental impacts, uh, integrate sustainable practices into their business model, and comply with all relevant environmental laws and regulations. Engaging with environmental experts and seeking professional guidance can help startups navigate the complex landscape of environmental compliances and foster a culture of sustainability from early stages of their business. Other aspects of so, responsibility towards the society is uh, using chemicals in startups. They have to take a necessary license. Startup that plan to use chemicals in their operations need to obtain the specific licenses and comply with the regulations to ensure safe handling, storage, and disposal of chemicals. It is essential for startups to identify the specific chemicals they plan to use and understand the applicable regulations and licensing requirements. Non-compliance, non-compliance to chemical related to regulations can lead to severe penalties and legal consequences. Engaging with experts in chemical Safely and regulatory compliances can help startups navigate the licensing processes and ensure safe and responsible handling of chemicals in their operations. And the responsibility of the startup is healthy competition. So it is essential for startups to remember that competition should be healthy and fair. Engaging in unethical practices such as spreading false information about competitors or engaging in price wars can harm the overall business environment and lead to legal consequences. Um, Healthy competitions in business is an um, essential driver to growth and innovation for startups. Um, by embracing competition and focusing on delivery value to customers, startup can position themselves for success in the market. Uh, can we go to the next slide now?
Yes, ma'am.
Another important aspect is risk management for startups. Risk management for a startup means identifying potential problems or challenges that could come up while running your new businesses and figuring out ways to handle them smartly. It is like preparing for different solutions, just like how we carry an umbrella when we see clouds in the sky, even if it is not a raining yet. In simple words, it's about being prepared for the unexpected so that your startup can keep going smoothly and succeed, no matter what hurdles may come your way. By understanding the risk and having a plans to deal with them, you can make your startup stronger and more likely to achieve its goals. Uh, Think of it as having a backup plan for a different situations, like having extra batteries for your toys or tire for your bike. Risk management is about being wise and taking steps to make sure your startup is ready to face challenges and turn them into opportunities for growth and success. Startup can enter into various agreements to avoid or mitigate risks before risk factors associated with their operations. These agreements help protect the startup interest, clarify responsibilities, and establish clear terms with other parties. It is essential for startups to seek legal advice when drafting and entering into agreements to ensure they are legally sound, enforceable, and adequately protect the startup's interests. Properly executed agreements can significantly reduce risks and provide a solid foundation for the startup growth and success. Another point is for risk management is insurance. Insurance is also important. Risk Insurance is also a important risk management tool for startups as it provides financial protection against unexpected events and potential liabilities. There are some essential types of insurance that startup can consider to mitigate risk. Generally, general liability insurance. This insurance covers legal liabilities arising from third party uh, bodily injury, property damage, or advertising claims. It protects the startup from lawsuit and related expenses. The another type of insurance is professional liability insurance. This insurance is vital for startups offering professional services. It covers claim of negligence, errors, or omissions made by the startup or its employees. The another important type of insurance is property insurance. Property insurance covers damages or loss to the startup's physical assets, such as office space, furniture, inventory, machine, uh, due to events like fire, theft, or natural disasters. The another important type of insurance is cyber liability insurance. As startups often rely on digital technology and handle sensitive information about customer data, cyber liability insurance protects against the data breaches, cyber attacks, and associates cost. The another one is directors and officers insurance. Insurance protects the startup's directors and officers from legal claims related to their decisions or action taken on behalf of the company. Another important type of insurance is workers' compensation insurance. In the startup, if the startup has employees, workers' compensation insurance provides coverage for medical expenses and lost wages in case of work-related injury or illness. The specific insurance needs of a startup may vary based on its industry, size, and risk profile. It is essential for startups to work with insurance professionals or brokers to assess their risk and obtain the most appropriate insurance coverage to protect their assets, operations, and employees. Properly insured startups can operate with a greater peace of mind and focus on growth and innovation without the fear of financial loss. So that's all. I'll conclude this webinar. In conclusion, planning a startup involves more than just brilliant ideas and hard work. It requires a solid understanding of legal and ethical considerations. By proactively addressing these aspects, you set the foundation for successful and sustainable business venture. Remember, every decision you make as a founder reflects your startup's values and integrity. Embrace the principles of legally and ethical ethics. And your startup will not only thrive in the market but also become a force for positive change in the world. Thank you for being part of this session, and I hope you find insights shared here valuable for your startup's growth and success. Uh, Thank you, madam.
Okay.
You have questions?
Thank you very much, madam. So, students, any doubts from your side? So, after your graduation, you can go for a startup. Whatever the project you have done, you can go for a patent and you can apply for the startup. So, madam has already clearly mentioned how to go for the what is the process to make a startup and what are the what is how to apply for the startup and the registration. Every legal and ethical steps, madam has mentioned. From your side, if you are having any doubts, you can ask now.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Because University Act allows faculty and students for a startup, so they can go for a start a startup, ma'am. They will get the benefits of they will get benefit of leaves as well as attendance. There is a policy called there is a policy called NISP. We can go through that, ma'am. NISP policy. And madam, we have an incubation center. You can get all the facilities virtually also. Meant uh, we have recognized from government, ma'am, like MSM, government of MSME, and MIT, DST, Department of Science and Technology. We are a business incubator also, so you can apply with us also. Government does not run directly as a incubation center. They recognize the centers like Kerala Technological University and other universities, or any engineering colleges or medical colleges. They recognize colleges and provide an incubation center. They will provide funding also. Thank you, madam.
From student side, any questions? Students, any questions? Madam, I am also having one question.
Yes.
Is any patent can be converted to a startup?
Uh, Madam, patent cannot be converted in startup, but you can use the patent in a startup, ma'am.
Okay. For
The
startup,
patent,
you can go for
the
patent.
patent can be commercial, but through your startup.
Okay. Means for any product, if you got that is what is a patent? Any patent? If you got any product, we got the patent. Shall we
Yes,
make it as a commercial and we can go for a startup for that
yes,
particular
yes,
product?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You can go for
That we
a
can do.
commercialization of patent. Yes.
Okay, okay, madam. Right. Thank you. Students?
And we have a funding also, ma'am, for startups
Yeah.
through government of India.
Yes, ma'am. You just told no that is we'll
Yes,
get
yes.
some loan and also if you go for
Because
registration.
startups need funding, no?
Uh,
So the many governments like government of MSME, government of India, MSME department, and DST, Department of Science and Technology, METI,
yeah.
and Karnataka government, they are funding for startups from 7 lakh to 1 crore once year.
It is as a loan, madam.
Uh, some are grants like non-refundable, uh,
Mhm.
like up to 15 lakhs they have a grant, but
Okay.
some are as a loan or equity funding money.
Okay. Okay, madam.
Up to CR, 1 CR is for equity funding.
Mhm. Actually, in from 2020 to 2022, also we're having a incubation center in our college that is under
Oh,
New Age Innovation Network. So it
okay.
is only for 2 years funding, madam. So therefore, they after that one, still we don't have opened that incubation center. But earlier it was there under
Okay.
NEIN, that is New Age Innovation Network.
Okay.
But now it is over. So again, we have to apply for one more incubation center. Okay. I think no questions from student side.
Okay,
So you
ma'am.
can understand after your graduation what is a startup and how to register. That time you can recall the this particular session. Thank you, madam. Thank you for your knowledgeable input regarding IPR and also legal and ethical steps such as how to register and how to apply for a startup and what are the benefits of registration in terms of loan, tax, etc. And you also mentioned how to follow the rules and regulations that is for environmental laws and also for societal sentiments, and also told about what are the different risks in startup and how to manage them. Clearly you have mentioned everything, both legal steps as well as ethical steps, madam. Thank you very much for your talk, and it is very helpful, at least for us, and maybe students may get also that is uh, benefited after their graduation.
Thank you,
Uh,
madam.
okay. I now thank our principal, Dr. S.S. Engineer sir, and also IIC coordinator, Dr. Anil Devangami sir, for their encouragement to conduct such events. I also thank Dr. Vijayalakshmi Jigjini madam, Dr. Mahabaleshwar sir, and Dr. Purnima madam for supporting to organize this session. Thank you, madam, and thank you, sir. Last but not least, I am very much thankful to all my dear students for their patience listening. Once again, I thank Ms. Sujata Lakshmeshwar Madam for giving her time to us. Thank you very much, Madam.
Thank you, madam, for the opportunities. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, and I hope the same cooperation in future also.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you, Madam. Thank you very much.
ಜಿಗ್ಜಿನಿ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ಅಂದ್ರಲ್ಲ ಜಿಗ್ಜಿನಿ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್
Yes, anything?
ಏನು ಸೌಂಡ್
So,
ಕೇಳೋದು
Saujanya?
ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್
Saujanya? Okay. Thank you. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam. Thank you, Madam. Thank you, Vijayalakshmi Madam, Purnima Madam.